YouTube pipe community. This is Smarty Bob here in central Indiana, where the temperature out here is, I think, in the upper 30s right now. It's about 68, 70 out here on my patio. Smoking my pipe, got some tobacco in it. This VR is for Brad the Bearded Piper. He has two questions and wants to know if you've been subbed to some presenters. First of all, Brad, I've been subbed to all the folks in your list for a long time. They're all great presenters. I enjoy their channels very much. The questions are, what book or TV is your favorite, or your best, or your all-time? I'm going to tell you about some books. Kind of a little synopsis of my reading history. Now, as a kid, the first book I read was called Dick and Jane. And the dog in it was called Spot. See Spot run, 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 run. Then I progressed to a little bit older books, and Disney came out, and he was involved in his movies and books. One of the first books I read and watched the movie that was later released was Lady and the Tramp. And that's actually a pretty good book, and teaches young kids some good lessons. Besides Lady and the Tramp, he brought out 101 Dalmatians, and a whole bunch of other good books and movies, which I read the books and saw the movies and enjoyed them a lot. As I got a little older and more mature, I read a book called Old Yeller. And the movie came out almost at the same time, maybe a little bit later. Old Yeller is about a dog and a boy. They grow up together. One day they're walking out in the woods or neighborhood, and a rabid dog comes up and is going to attack the boy. The protective friend he is, he attacked the rabid dog, and they get in a fight, and he either kills the dog or the dog runs off. So in the movie, you see the dog walking up to the boy, and the boy's petting the dog, but the boy notices that Old Yeller's been bitten in a few places. So him and this dog goes home, and they tell mom and dad. The dad says, you need to lock up that dog for 10 days in his kennel outside. So the boy takes Yeller outside, puts him in his kennel, feeds him, waters him every day. And about 8-9 days later, and the dog's always happy to see him every day. And 8 or 9 days later, the boy goes out with the food for the dog, and the dog is completely changed. The dog growls, the dog's vicious, the dog's spinning in circles. The boy knows the dog has rabies, and if he opens it up, the boy will get rabies. So you see the boy's head sad, and he goes back in and gets his dad's shotgun and does what he needed to do. In that story, that boy became a man at that time. Very good story. As I grew up, I had relationships with my dogs. Learned a lot of these lessons. The next book I read and story I watched is called Hachi, the true story. Hachi is And by the way, it was made into a movie by the same name, Hachi, the True Story. It was directed and produced and stars Richard Gere. He's a great, great actor and played in a lot of really good movies. A man takes an abandoned pup in that's wandering throughout his neighborhood, and they become inseparable friends. The man walks to the local train station every day, gets on the train, and goes into town to his work. The dog follows the man in, watches the man get on the train station and depart. The dog then stays in the train station area, meandering around, wagging his tail, saying hello to people who pat him on the head. Some of the shop owners there at the train station will put out a little bit of food for him or water, give him a little treat now and then. And he actually becomes friends of all the people in the train station that do their business there. This goes on for years. The dog's always there, 5 days a week. The dog waits for the man to go, does his thing, lays down under a tree and waits for the train to arrive. One day the man has a heart attack while he's at work and dies. The dog waits. After a while, after a few hours, the wife realized that their dog is down there waiting at that train station. So she goes down and gets the dog. Dog greets her, puts her on the leash, or she puts on the leash and she goes home. But the next day, the dog is out the door and down at the train station. No matter what the woman does, she ties him up, she puts him in a kennel. He always gets out and goes down to the train station. At the train station, he meanders around and he's greeted by the local people there. And he lays down under the tree and waits for the man. This goes on for 9 years. Think about the loyalty. I encourage you all to either read the book or watch the movie, but the movie is great. And you will not have you will have tears in your eyes at the end of that movie. Well, this is long enough. Brad, I've read books, read and watched movies. I've subscribed to the people you said, subscribers you said, and congratulations on your 500 GAW. Just more to come. By the way, give those dogs a pet for Smarty Bob. I always end this saying, yesterday's a memory, tomorrow's a promise. My memories are full of joy and love. Tomorrow's just a promise, and I'm sure I got great things coming for me tomorrow. I've been very lucky in this life, and I've worked hard and I've been rewarded well. So enjoy today. And when you think about it, that's why they call today the present. Love you.